in Blaine for Congress. Nobody can spell Luetkemeyer, nobody can pronounce it. It's really simple, so everybody can get that done. And Linda, as you're punching this thing over here, I kept thinking that I'm not very good at Morse code, but it sure sounded like, well, these guys sure can talk an awful lot. But good to be with you this afternoon, and appreciate the opportunity. Have to apologize for all the other folks here this afternoon. They seem to follow us around wherever we go. We also have a tracker here today, so in case I stumbled, you may see me on a commercial this evening or tomorrow, next day, with something I did do or didn't do or should have said or didn't say. So you're kind of getting a flavor of what it's like to be on our campaign trail, where every time we do something or say something, it gets scrutinized very closely. So, but let me just start out by giving you a brief bio of myself. I don't know how much you know about me. I come from a little town called St. Elizabeth. It's south of Jefferson City, about 30 miles, east of the lake, about 30 miles. A little German community down there, imagine that with a name like Luetkemeyer. And born and raised in the community, lived in fact 2 houses up where I was born and raised. After going around school in the first few years of married life, we came back home and had the opportunity to come back to local business there. Been in the financial services industry, in the banking and insurance business for the last 30 years. As I was growing up, I had the opportunity to raise livestock. I raised livestock about 20 years. Helped put myself through school, put some shoes on my kids' feet first few years of married life. And then in '98 I got interested in politics. My youngest child was a senior in high school. And I kind of waited to get into politics because I felt that the most important job I'd ever had would be that of a parent, be that of a father. I wanted to wait till my kids were grown before I was able, so I could spend all the time I wanted to with them. And then as they grew up, then I could spend the time I needed to be involved in politics and that sort of stuff, because I know it's a very time-consuming job. I was fortunate in '98 to win the 7-way primary. In 2001, because of term limits, I was kind of an aberration of that from the standpoint that only serving 1 term, I was already elected to leadership. But we had some very far-sighted leaders in our party, and they stepped down so that some of the younger members could step up. And I was one of 2 members that was actually elected to leadership in our sophomore term there at the legislature. So in 2003 and 4, I stepped out of leadership to be able to chair the Financial Services Committee. And in 2004, I ran for state treasurer, finished second in the primary to Sarah Steelman, the eventual winner. And in 2006, the governor asked me to step in and be the director of tourism in the state of Missouri, and I was there for the last 1.5 years until I stepped out in March to devote full-time again to the job of running for Congress, because I believe you deserve somebody who's going to spend all their time running for this position, because it's not a part-time job. So since then, we've been able to get around the district and meet a lot of folks, and I think we've enjoyed our time. It's been great. Over the last several months, as a result of my time in the legislature, and the fact that I've got a very broad background, both in agriculture as well as business, I was somebody that, and one day we actually were in a boardroom in a meeting in the morning and standing in the middle of a bean field in the afternoon. I'm somebody who's got that unique ability to be able to connect with all those people and understand those issues. And I think that's why we're a great candidate, because we understand a broad spectrum of issues and have been very effective on those issues when we were in the House of Representatives. Today we were, the list of endorsements is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the Eldon Chamber of Commerce, which is the closest chamber for me where I live. National Federation of Independent Businesses, agricultural community, we have Farm Bureau, Cattlemen Association, soybeans, and folks like that. So again, I think we have a broad spectrum of support. They understand that I'm somebody who was effective when I was in Jefferson City. I can be effective for them in Washington. So with that said, as we go around the district, the issue that most people are concerned about is the energy crisis, the economy, and how it all ties together. And I think that at the end of the day, if you look at the big spectrum of things, really the major problem we see right now with the inflationary trend in our economy is due to the high prices of oil. Although they've come down recently, over the last 6 or 7 months, we've endured some of the highest prices we've ever had in the history of this country. And I think you can see that back in the first part of August, when the President came out and said, we will support drilling offshore, immediately thereafter, the price of oil went down, and it kept going down until recently here. And I think that it shows that if we have the national will and national policy to drill, it takes the speculative part of this market out of play and gets it back down to where the actual supply and demand factors kick in. I do support drilling offshore. I support drilling in Yanmar. I support developing oil shale out in the west. And I think we have to find a way to fast track some of our new refineries that need to be built to develop this natural resource that we have. We're the only country in the world that treats our natural resources as an environmental hazard. I think it's nonsense. We can do this environmentally friendly and do it in a way that can develop these resources for ourselves. You know, it's amazing to me. We have an American problem that has an American solution if we have the national will and policy to do what needs to be done. It's amazing that we keep sitting here and looking at an issue that can be solved and keep letting the environmentalists get us off track. The last count, there were 742, I believe, is the last figure that somebody gave me, of oil leases that are now tied up in court. The first thing people say is, well, Blaine, they have all these oil leases and their oil company's not using the leases. Well, they can't. Every single one, in the last several years that's been issued, is now tied up in court. They can't get to them because environmentalists have gotten tied up. And then the next thing they say, Blaine, that's a long-term solution, drilling. I say, no, it's not. It's a short-term solution. Look what happened. We've already dropped the price down below $100 a barrel. We have the national will and national policy to drill. It will stay there.